We are back to discuss respiration or respiratory system. That's why we are here for today. We need to look at respiration in animals is the key area we are going to handle. And respiratory system is the area because it's the system. If they talk of a system, it means that it's a combination of different body organs to perform a particular tasks. So respiration, what is respiration? Respiration is the process, meaning it is gradual, it progresses from one step to another, by which body uses food and oxygen to produce energy, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. So it's the process whereby you just put food in the body, then that food is added to oxygen. Oxygen will have to burn down food. We get energy generated outside. Carbon dioxide will also be generated, and water vapor. Where does respiration occur? Does it occur in the mouth or in the ears? In ears. Respiration occurs in living body cells. When someone has died, respiration will not occur in his body, in his or her body. So we must say respiration occurs in body cells. And many people actually think that respiration occurs in lungs. No, respiration does not occur in lungs, but respiration occurs in living body cells. We look at what comes out, the byproducts of respiration. When respiration occurs in the body, that is what comes out, what is generated, what is given out. We have carbon dioxide as the first waste product, as the first byproduct. We also have water vapor. These are waste products removed from the body by lungs. We go to breathing, and breathing is the act, it's the taking in and out of air. Simple, that is breathing. Or it can mean constant exchange of gases between an organism and the surroundings. And the main respiratory organ in man are lungs. Those lungs are the main respiratory organs in man. We look at the length and describe and look at what occurs in every step. Respiratory system deals with the use of oxygen in the body. And lungs are the respiratory organs situated in either sides of the chest cavity. Sometimes they ask, in which region of the body do we find lungs? Lungs are found in the region of the body that we call chest. Lungs are covered in a membrane called pleural membrane. Lungs are covered in a membrane we call pleural membrane. And this pleural membrane produces pleural fluid. This pleural fluid is meant to lubricate the lungs and ribs, meaning they reduce friction. This pleural fluid reduces friction between lungs and ribs. Lungs are protected by rib cages. Sometimes they ask, what protects lungs? Lungs are entirely protected by rib cages. The ribs are held in position by the intercostal muscles. What holds ribs in one position? Those are intercostal muscles. Then lower side of the lungs, we find their diaphragm. Diaphragm, this PHRAGM, diaphragm. And what is the use of a diaphragm? The use of a diaphragm is to separate the chest cavity from abdominal cavity. Get set for the question. What separates chest cavity from abdominal cavity? That's diaphragm. This is the structure of lungs. We shall have air entering in lungs. This is trachea. Air will enter through trachea. Actually, from nose, it goes to trachea. When it reaches trachea, it will take either right bronchus or left bronchus. This is left bronchus and this is right bronchus. This is the cross-section of the lung. Then from bronchus, bronchus will have to divide itself into different branches that we call bronchioles. This is a bronchiole, this is a bronchiole, this is a bronchiole, this is a bronchiole. Then bronchioles end in air sacs. You can see these are air sacs or alveoli. Then there is what protects lungs. These are rib cages we are talking of. We have intercostal muscles, then these are ribs. There is the position of the heart. Sometimes they ask, identify the organ that is positioned on part X. This is the heart. So heart is positioned here. We also have diaphragm, and we have seen that the use of a diaphragm is to separate chest cavity. This is the boundary for chest from abdominal. So from here as you move down, that is abdomen. And from here as you move up, that is chest. So diaphragm separates chest cavity from abdominal cavity. We got functions of the parts. We start with the nose. Nose warms, cleans, and moistens air. We have three things that occurs to air when it reaches in the nose. Air will be warmed, air will be cleaned by cilia, and air will be moistened by mucus. The nose also traps dust and germs from air we breathe in. That is another role. The nose has mucus. We have seen that the mucus is meant to moisten air. Then we also have smaller hairs that we call cilia, and cilia is meant to trap dusts and germs. And why is it not good to breathe through mouth? Members, it's not good to breathe through mouth because of some reasons. One, mouth does not contain cilia. We have said the cilia are smaller hairs found in the nose. But in the mouth, we don't have smaller hairs. So, and the role of cilia is actually to trap dust and germs or dirt. Also, we need not to breathe through mouth because air will not be warmed. And when air is not warmed, it will chill lungs or it will make lungs very cold. And you may end up getting pneumonia. We go to windpipe or trachea. Trachea is a passage of air in and out of the lungs. So trachea is the passage of air in and out of the lungs. Why is the trachea made of rings of cartilage? Trachea is one of the parts that is made up of cartilages. As we have nose, made of cartilages, ears, made of cartilages. Even trachea is made of cartilages. Why? To prevent it from closing or collapsing. Or rings of cartilage keep trachea open all the time. We go to lungs. Lungs have air sacs, and it is in air sacs where gaseous exchange occurs. They may ask, state the role of air sacs. Air sacs, you say, it is where gaseous exchange occurs. Oxygen comes in as carbon dioxide diffuses out. We shall look at that. Air sacs or alveoli, it is where gaseous exchange occurs. Carbon dioxide diffuses out or goes out as oxygen enters blood. We have two types of breathing. We can breathe in or we can breathe out. Expiration or breathing out or exhalation. They all mean one thing. Then we can also see inspiration or breathing in or inhalation. We have two. It can be exhalation, inhalation, breathing out, breathing in, expiration or inspiration. Then we got parts of the breathing system whereby you have a nose and it contains the mucus which warms and moistens air before reaching lungs. Remember, when air is not warmed, it can make lungs very cold, or it can cause chilling of lungs and end up to pneumonia, especially in children. It contains hair-like structures that we call cilia, and we have seen that cilia trap germs and dirt from air. What happens to air in the nose? I have seen three things occur to air. Air is filtered or is cleaned, air is warmed, and air is moistened. Once I ask a question, what occurs, identify, point out any three things that happen to air when it reaches in the nose. You say, air is cleaned, air is warmed, air is moistened. Then what happens to air in the mouth? No mucus to moisten air and warm it. No cilia to filter air by trapping dirt and germs. We got trachea. Trachea, it has an epiglottis. And what is the role of epiglottis? Epiglottis closes trachea when swallowing food. So epiglottis is meant to prevent choking by closing trachea when swallowing food. And another name to mean trachea is windpipe. Air enters into lungs, which contains the voice box. Inside the voice box, we find their vocal cords. As we shall be discussing sound, we shall see that vocal cords help human beings to produce sounds. They vibrate and produce sound. Trachea contains rings of cartilage. We have seen rings of cartilage prevent trachea from collapsing, hence checking on suffocation or choking. Exchange of gases occurs in the air sacs. That one is also clear. And it is in air sacs where gaseous exchange occurs. By what process? The process is diffusion. Once they pose a question and ask, identify the process that occurs in air sacs, or how are air sacs, by what process are air sacs able to exchange gases? You will say by diffusion. Adaptations, why are air sacs able to perform their role? They are thin-walled to allow easy diffusion. They have thin walls. They are surrounded by many blood capillaries to bring carbon dioxide and take oxygen. And they are many. These are three main adaptations. We go to the structure of the villus. Villus it's a ball-like to some extent. It has this blood vessel that we call, this one carries blood from pulmonary artery. Remember, pulmonary artery is part of blood that takes out deoxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood will come and enter. These are red blood cells, and you know the red blood cells is to transport oxygen. So air will come in, then we shall see carbon dioxide coming out of lungs as oxygen enters lungs. That is what we call diffusion. Then we have endothelial cells. These ones regulate the exchange. Then after blood has got oxygen, it will go to the heart through pulmonary vein. That's the structure of the villus and the mode and how it actually performs.